It began like any ordinary closed-door meeting. The agenda was policy, the atmosphere expected to be routine. Lawmakers shuffled papers, staffers whispered quietly in corners, and the weight of bureaucracy hung in the air. But then, Ivanka Trump entered the room, her trademark composure and designer polish commanding instant attention. Across from her sat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, known for her unflinching candor and fearless presence. When their eyes locked, the energy shifted. The tension wasn't just political, it was personal. For months, these two women had circled each other in the public arena, exchanging sharp remarks, veiled barbs, and thinly disguised contempt. This wasn't just another meeting. This was the battlefield where unspoken grudges would erupt into open confrontation. Everyone in the room could feel it. Something big was about to happen. If you want to see exactly how this standoff unfolded and why it shook the internet, hit subscribe now and join the reckoning. Ivanka, poised and polished as always, leaned back in her chair. With a smug smile curling on her lips, she delivered the challenge that would change the room. Maybe we should settle this with an IQ test. That way, we'll finally know who really deserves to be in this room. Her voice was calm, but the intent behind it was razor sharp. Every syllable dripped with condescension. Staffers froze mid-note, their pens hovering over their notepads. Lawmakers exchanged wary glances, unsure if they had just witnessed a bold power play or the beginning of a disaster. Ivanka thought she had sprung the perfect trap, a public dare designed to humiliate her rival, to brand Jasmine as unworthy, unqualified, and out of her depth. But Jasmine Crockett didn't blink. She leaned forward, her eyes steady, her silence louder than any rebuttal. The room braced itself, knowing what came next would decide everything. Leaning forward, Crockett's voice sliced through the tension with surgical precision. An IQ test? Honey, I don't need a test to prove what everyone here already knows. I've been outsmarting your daddy's lawyers for years. The words landed like thunderclaps. Gasps erupted across the room, ricocheting off the walls as reporters and staffers exchanged stunned looks. The challenge wasn't just answered, it was dismantled, reduced to dust before Ivanka could even recover. Ivanka's confident mask faltered. Her trademark smile wavered into something brittle, her laugh thin and hollow. Her shoulders stiffened, betraying the weight of the blow. For the first time, the room saw cracks in her polished facade. Jasmine didn't press further. She didn't need to. She let the silence do the work, heavy and suffocating. Every second stretched like a blade suspended above Ivanka's image. In that stillness, the power dynamic shifted. The room knew Crockett wasn't just holding her ground, she was winning. In just 31 seconds, Ivanka's challenge had collapsed. What she intended as a power play became her own undoing. Jasmine had exposed her not as a rival, but as a symbol of privilege, wealth without merit, polish without grit. The shift in the room was palpable. What began as stiff, nervous anticipation had transformed into a storm of disbelief. Staffers whispered, reporters scribbled furiously. Cameras, once casual, now locked in, as if they had witnessed history tilt on its axis. And beyond those walls, the aftershocks hit instantly. Clips of Jasmine's retort tore through social media. On TikTok, creators stitched the moment into biting memes. Twitter turned hashtags into weapons. Hashtag brains over privilege, hashtag 31 seconds, hashtag game over Ivanka. Within an hour, millions had watched Ivanka falter frame by frame. The dynasty's grip on its own narrative was slipping. Jasmine hadn't just won the room, she had won the nation's attention. Within minutes, hashtags blazed across Twitter. Hashtag brains over privilege, hashtag game over. Clips of Ivanka's faltering smile spread like wildfire across TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Memes poured in, comedians pounced, and late-night hosts tore into the moment. Stephen Colbert joked, Ivanka challenged Jasmine Crockett to an IQ test and lost in half a minute. Honestly, that's still longer than her dad lasts in most depositions. The political world laughed, but Ivanka wasn't laughing anymore.
Behind the polished image, anger brewed. Reports claimed she stormed out, snapping at aides for not warning her. The dynasty's carefully crafted armor had cracked, live for all to see. Privately, Ivanka's fury reached a breaking point. Storming from the room, she lashed out at her aides, her voice sharp with humiliation. Why didn't anyone warn me she'd come at me like that? The polished composure she wore in public was gone, replaced by raw anger. Back at the Trump compound, her father's reaction stung even more. Donald Trump, never one to sugarcoat, dismissed her frustration with a sneer. You got beat in 30 seconds? Weak. His words cut deep, leaving Ivanka seething. Jared Kushner, the strategist, urged restraint. Stay quiet, let it blow over. But Ivanka's pride refused silence. She wasn't planning to lick her wounds. She was plotting her comeback. Behind closed doors, the counteroffensive took shape. Ivanka's team reached out to loyal voices in conservative media, lining up talking points and primed narratives. The mission was clear: tear down Jasmine Crockett before her victory could take root. She would be branded unhinged, too radical for Washington, even dangerous to the nation's future. Op-eds were drafted, segments pitched, and whispers seeded in back channels. This wasn't about reclaiming Ivanka's dignity, it was about burying the woman who had dismantled it in under a minute. But Jasmine Crockett wasn't retreating. She was sharpening her next move, ready to turn their smear campaign into her greatest weapon. Instead of unleashing a barrage of insults, Jasmine Crockett chose precision. Her single tweet landed like a hammer wrapped in silk. Funny thing about IQ tests, they measure memory too. It was a masterclass in restraint, subtle enough to sting, sharp enough to dominate the conversation. And within minutes, the post ricocheted across Twitter, racking up thousands of retweets, likes, and replies. Commentators called it the perfect clapback, a blend of intellect and shade that Ivanka simply couldn't match. And for those paying attention, it was a warning. Jasmine had worn the vault, and she wasn't afraid to use it. What started as Ivanka's smug dare had morphed into a political firestorm, her carefully polished image unraveling in real time, one viral clip at a time. And as the storm gathered momentum, one thing was clear: Jasmine Crockett wasn't done yet. This was just the opening act. Don't miss what happens next. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay locked in. The reckoning has only begun.